Welcome to Critical Role Demystified, where we talk about the lessons we can learn from episodes of Critical Role. I'm Mike, and today we're talking about episode 14 of the Vox Machina campaign, Shopping and Shipping. For this episode, Sam is stuck at work, and Laura and Travis are Skyping in from Florida. Orion was running late, but he arrives right as the recap ends. This is when we find out that Tiberius teleported to Draconia and bought a bag of holding without telling anybody, in or out of the game. Mainly because in episode 8, they did not have Grog with them, and Pike's holy symbol was broken. So Tiberius went to reach for the mending wheel, and Matt informed him that he did not carry the mending wheel. It was too large for him to carry. It would have had to be in the bag of holding. Tiberius didn't realize that, or Orion didn't realize that. He thought it was small enough that he was carrying it. I just did a video about encumbrance and other sort of mechanics like that, and this is why it's actually really important to make sure that you're on the same page as your players early in the campaign. You need to make sure everybody understands these systems and how they're going to work in the game. Otherwise, you can all agree not to worry about it, but then when the DM intervenes and says that it's unrealistic for you to have been carrying something that's been on your inventory for months because they thought it was heavier than you did, it can feel like a real shock. Tiberius also asks to trade magic items with Scanlan, but Sam is not present. So Matt has Scanlan say that he should wait and they'll think about it and talk about it another time. I think we can actually see this as a lesson that Matt has learned during these games. When Travis was gone in episodes 7 and 8, Matt had Grog empty the cask of ale for a toast. But then, after Travis was back and Grog brought out the cask, Matt realized he actually did not want to have retroactively taken something that the player thought they had. So he basically hand-waved it and said, no, never mind, there's ale in there, it's fine. So when it seems like the situation is about to present itself again, and Sam is going to come back and find that he doesn't have a magic item that he thought he did, Matt sidesteps this, because he realized that maybe that would not be good, actually. We can actually see this as part of the shift of having weekly play, and they're going to learn and they're going to adapt, and the tone of the game is going to change over time. Additionally, Matt hands out his magic items on little pieces of paper, at least at this point, before they were using D&D Beyond, and Sam is not here to hand over the piece of paper to Orion, even if they did trade. So that's yet another reason why it's a good idea to wait. The party has been summoned by the king/emperor, Sovereign Uriel, but they go to see Allura first. She is the wizard who is part of the council, so she will probably be at that meeting as well. But before the meeting, they want to talk to her about the Horn of Orcus. And, let her know that they've rescued Lady Kima. She is the one who sent them on that mission, after all. Allura and Kima greet each other, and, everybody picks up on a vibe between them. Allura pays the party 10,000 gold for rescuing Lady Kima, and Vox Machina reveals to Allura that they have recovered the Horn of Orcus. And she agrees with them. Yes, they should be cautious about this. Now, our heroes are hesitant to tell more people. They don't know if they should tell the council, if they should tell Sovereign Uriel. Especially Sovereign Uriel, because his mind was recently under manipulation from evil forces in a pre-stream adventure. At this point, the party has pretty much convinced themselves that they're carrying the One Ring, and they're really worried that any individual they encounter is just going to become gaga, insanely possessed, corrupted by it. Which is very possible. We don't know if that's true or not. But Allura asks them to have some faith. And on the one hand, yes, they need to communicate that they have this with the council, otherwise this is not going to move forward in any meaningful way. But also, Matt, you are kind of the reason they have trust issues right now. Clarota was just the most recent, but there were certainly examples of them being betrayed in pre-stream games as well. But they ultimately agree they will bring the Horn of Orcus to the attention of the council. And they also talk a lot about the idea that they might erase their own memories after they put this horn in its new hiding place, wherever that ends up being. Now, here's where something really interesting happens. Allura tells the group that the council has been meeting with lots of political guests. One of those guests is Sildor of Singorn, Vex and Vax's father. The players have already met him in a pre-stream game, and he's a piece of work. And as the players react to this news, they're giving each other side eyes and they're making notes. They miss the next name Allura mentions. Or rather, the next two names.
Most of our guests have been a bit rough around the edges. Although I will say, we did manage to meet with Sildor of Singorn. We may have some business there with getting Singorn situated. And Lord and Lady Briarwood were rather nice to us when they came into the town.
Lord and Lady Briarwood. Two very important individuals from Percy's backstory. Two names that we hear frequently in the character introductions that play in every episode of Critical Role. And when she says it, nobody hears it. So the party goes to talk to Sovereign Uriel and the rest of the council. Matt describes their arrival, and as they enter the council room, they are met with council members they've met before and introduced to new members they have not met. And as Sovereign Uriel is taking care of some outstanding business...
Sovereign finishes writing some papers, rolls them up, snaps twice, and the gentleman comes by and he hands them papers and says, give these to Lady and Lord Briarwood as soon as possible, thank you.
8 minutes and 12 seconds. From the first time Matt says those names to when he repeats it again. Matt gets them into the council chambers and introduces 3 brand new NPCs to the players and several more to the audience, because we hadn't met any of these characters at this point. And then he makes sure that the players hear the names this time. Specifically, one player. Percy needs to hear that the city of Amon has business with the Briarwoods. And does he hear it?
Give these to Lady and Lord Briarwood as soon as possible, thank you. All right, so... First of all, I want to welcome you all back. It's been a few weeks since we've seen each other.
Yeah, he did. Matt did not know how Percy/Taliesin was going to react, I'm sure. But when Matt said those names and then nobody, including and especially Percy/Taliesin, had any reaction at all, well, at that point, Matt probably suspected that Taliesin just did not hear him the first time. So he wasted no time in getting those names in front of Taliesin again. This is a really interesting example of something that Mike Shea talks a lot about on the Sly Flourish channel. He frequently cites the idea that your players are probably not picking up on some of your more obvious clues. Sometimes you're going to feel like you're going overboard, that you are making the mystery way too obvious. But Mike Shea frequently argues that players only understand about half of what you say during a D&D game. Now, there can be many different versions of this. You describe a room, and they don't picture it the same way you do. Or they mishear a name, and they ask for clarification. Or the classic gazebo example. If you don't know that story, Google Eric and the Dread Gazebo. It's worth a laugh. But sometimes, like in this case, the players just straight up miss your very obvious clue. Here, the players missed it because they were taking notes. They were engaging with the last very important thing that Matt said. No one did anything wrong. This is just what happens in D&D sometimes. So Matt snuck in a second clue right after the first. And boy, oh boy, it worked. The members of Vox Machina tell Sovereign Uriel and the Council of Tal'dorei about their adventure and about the Horn of Orcus. And everybody agrees that it should be shipped away, sent away from the city, because people who are after that horn might come to Amon looking for it. So the party will accompany Kima and take the horn to Vasselheim, where her holy order is based. Last episode of this road. Last episode, I'm so close. This happens in every episode, by the way. I've cut it out of so many episodes, but you get to hear it now. So close. The party will accompany the horn as Kima and her fellow clergy members bring it to the city of Vasselheim. Percy catches the Sovereign right after the meeting and asks about the Briarwoods.
Come to his side.
Good Sovereign, if I could have a moment. Did I hear correctly that Lord and Lady Briarwood were in town?
They inherited the region after the unfortunate demise of the Dirola family.
Yes.
So they came here on a diplomatic mission to open trade.
Oh, that's nice. Keep it quiet, but if I could be notified if they're coming through again, I would very much like to surprise them, if that would be possible.
So, that's interesting. Just, interesting. So the party has a few days before the skyship arrives to take them on their mission to bring the horn to Vasselheim.
Whatever business you need to get done, it should take no more than 2 days to get this
2
taken
days?
care of. 2 days.
You guys, we have a weekend!
So since they have a little bit of time, they decide to go and visit their friend, Gilmore. Now listen, what can be said about Gilmore that has not already been said? How do we describe Gilmore?
As the hand swishes open, he goes, "I'm sorry, was I being summoned?"
Yes.
He immediately looks at us.
Yes.
Oh, you've returned.
Gilmore!
Gilmore!
You glorious bastard! How have you been?
Obviously, you've brought the rest of your friends here. Come, sit, story time, story time. Please sit around.
Yeah, that basically says it all. Gilmore runs the city's magic items shop. He is a sorcerer, and he is extremely charming. Gilmore also has a very flirtatious relationship with Vax, and the two of them go for a walk while the other party members go shopping. And as they shop, Vex haggles like it is her job, which She is the Vox Machina treasurer, so technically speaking, in this context, it is her job. There's not much to discuss about this sequence because it's not very fun to hear somebody describe a shopping episode of D&D, but they do get some cool magic items. Also, we find out that Gilmore is opening a franchise in Westrin. That's not relevant, but I'm just proud of him. Also, we now know, sometime later, that Travis famously gets very bored during shopping trips. But if you are looking for some sort of reaction or evidence of that in this episode, we don't really get it. At this point in the game, Laura and Travis had really spotty internet, so most of the shopping trip they spend just trying to reestablish their connection. However, partway through this transaction, we discover that Grog actually has a great deal of platinum in the bag of holding that he had neglected to mention to Vex.
And we are owed money in
Question
Craghammer.
that Grog just whispered to me.
Yes.
How much is a platinum worth?
How much is it platinum? Platinum is worth 10 gold pieces.
Where we at, girl?
She's
We may have a lot more money than I thought we had because Grog's been hiding money in the bag of holding.
It's really shiny. I'm in trouble, Matt. I'm in trouble. She's really mad.
Wait, is this like when you slapped Trinket on the ass, Mad?
No, not close. Not even close. Not even as much as Trinket.
This is finances. This sounds like a married couple.
So, how much platinum do we have hiding in the bag of holding?
I don't have the number in front of me, but it's at least 150.
Yeah.
Anyway, they buy some stuff, and that is the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks with episode 15, Skyward, where the party sets out on their journey with the Horn of Orcus, and also we get a cool aerial battle. In the meantime, I have other videos that come out every Monday and Thursday about advice for Dungeon Masters and D&D players. I hope you'll check them out. They are a lot of fun, and I think very useful. If you want to support the channel, there are a few ways you can do that. You can subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about new videos whenever they come out. You can join my Patreon. I have goals to upgrade some of my equipment to help make the process of filming a lot faster. And down the road, I would love to bring in an editor and take some time off work, and in doing that, I would be able to make these videos a lot faster. So if that's something that interests you, the best way to make that happen is by joining the Patreon. The third way you can support the channel is by joining my Discord server, where a bunch of cool people hang out and talk about D&D and RPGs. We talk a lot in between these videos, and sometimes the things we talk about actually make it into one of my videos. And the fourth way you can support the channel is by joining my newsletter and getting occasional updates about what I've got going on. Until next time, play fair and have fun.